Do you take a daily multivitamin? If so, you're not alone. Approximately 1/3 of Americans do. But is it really doing any good? Studies show probably not. It's unclear why multivitamins aren't effective, but it's likely a combination of factors, such as differences in bioavailability or synergy with other nutrients typically found in the same foods. Off the bat, I want to emphasize that targeted supplementation based on test results and recommended by your healthcare provider is not what we're talking about here. We are not dissing all supplements in this video. Rather, we're going to look at the science that shows overall, multivitamin supplementation can't make up for a diet lacking in essential nutrients. Given that there's an established link between essential vitamin and mineral insufficiencies and increased risk for chronic disease, and that studies have confirmed lower levels of nutrient deficiencies among older adults who take a daily multivitamin, it would be reasonable to posit that taking a multivitamin every day would reduce risk of chronic disease. However, a vast collection of high-quality scientific studies have failed to show a protective impact from a daily multivitamin. Let's examine the evidence. A 2013 systematic review and meta-analysis that pooled together data from 21 randomized controlled trials and included over 91,000 individuals, average age of 62 years, and with an average duration of multivitamin and multi-mineral supplementation use of 43 months, found that multivitamins had no significant impact on all-cause mortality risk, regardless of trial bias. Let's actually go on a quick tangent to discuss forest plots because I'm going to show a few more in this video. A forest plot is a graphical representation commonly used in meta-analyses to display the results from multiple studies on a single outcome. Forest plots allow researchers to visually assess the variability and consistency of results across studies, as well as the overall effect size and precision. The squares indicate the average results from each study. And often the size of the square corresponds to the weight of the study, typically its sample size. The line through that square is the 95% confidence interval, like a measurement of how sure we are that that average actually represents the whole population. So we're 95% confident that the real average is somewhere in that line. When the square and the 95% confidence interval are on the left side of one, that means that result favors the treatment. In our case, that would mean that multivitamins reduce mortality. When the square and the 95% confidence interval line are on the right side of one, that means the opposite. In our case, that would mean multivitamins increase mortality. If that 95% confidence interval line crosses over the one, that means the results are not statistically different from no effect, also called a null result. And the diamond at the bottom of the forest plot represents the overall effect, pulling together all of the data from all of those studies. And it also has its own 95% confidence interval line. Okay, back to how multivitamins impact mortality rates, or rather don't impact mortality rates. This is another forest plot from that same 2013 meta-analysis showing that taking a daily multivitamin has no observed effect on mortality risk from vascular causes or from cancer. That reminds me of a joke. My doctor says I've run out of magnesium. OMG! Have I run out of sodium as well? Nah. But you have run out of potassium. Okay. I hope that 3 for mom joke earned your subscribe. In a 2018 meta-analysis that included 18 studies and over 2 million study participants, researchers found no benefit to cardiovascular disease incidence or outcomes from taking a daily multivitamin multimineral supplement, including no change to cardiovascular disease mortality, coronary heart disease mortality, stroke incidence, or stroke mortality. And while multivitamins are associated with slightly lower incidence of coronary heart disease overall, this benefit was mainly seen in cohort studies and not randomized control trials. B, this benefit was not seen in studies from the USA. And C, this benefit was only seen in studies that did not adjust for fruit and vegetable intake. In fact, multivitamin supplements did not reduce risk of coronary heart disease in studies that adjusted for diet quality. So the authors conclude that multivitamins should not be recommended for cardiovascular disease prevention in the general population. Let's look at one more meta-analysis. This 2013 systematic review and meta-analysis comprising 26 studies, 24 randomized controlled trials, and 2 cohort studies explored the effect of vitamin and mineral supplements on cardiovascular disease, cancer, and all-cause mortality in healthy individuals with no known nutritional deficiencies. And overall, no consistent evidence was found to support the use of multivitamin supplements for preventing cardiovascular disease, cancer, or total mortality. Note that while there was no clear benefit of multivitamins on these outcomes, 2 trials did observe lower cancer incidence in men, so future studies are needed here. An important 2019 study compared the health impact of getting nutrients from foods versus supplements, and showed that consuming sufficient vitamin A, vitamin K, magnesium, and zinc from food, but not from supplements, reduced all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease mortality. Additionally, excess calcium from supplements above 1,000 milligrams per day, but not from food, increased cancer mortality. So we do get the expected benefits from nutrients from foods, but not from a multivitamin. And the natural follow-up question is why? Why don't multivitamins improve these health outcomes? While we really don't have definitive answers to this question, there are a few possible explanations. One possible explanation could be poor absorption of the vitamins and minerals these supplements contain, whether due to the molecular forms used, competition with other nutrients, tablet binders, or digestive processes. For example, in studies modeling the human gut, they have shown that multivitamin tablets can take 4 to 6 hours to fully dissolve, which is far too long for efficient absorption of the vitamins and minerals they contain. Another possible explanation is that the typical multivitamins out there don't actually meet enough of the dietary shortfalls to have a significant impact on health outcomes. For example, in American adults who take a daily multivitamin, there is a higher proportion of those adults meeting the estimated average requirement of many essential nutrients. However, a lot of them still fall short of vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin K, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And one last explanation is that because multivitamin supplements tend to only include essential vitamins and minerals, they aren't actually including the full range of nutrients that our bodies need. But when we're getting enough of those vitamins and minerals from foods, we tend to be getting that full range of nutrients. I want to emphasize once again that supplementation recommended by your healthcare provider still has a role to play in the overall health equation. And for example, prenatal vitamins have an excellent track record for reducing risk of neural tube defects like spina bifida. So none of what I've shared in this video should be considered a substitute for the advice of your doctor. I also want to emphasize that for the most part, these studies don't show harm from taking a daily multivitamin. Just that the concept of a multivitamin as nutritional insurance doesn't hold up. And what really matters is that you're getting the nutrients your body needs from the foods you eat. That's the goal of Nutrivore. So rather than reaching for a multivitamin, consider whether or not your diet is supplying you with the nutrients you need. Right now, the science is pointing to it being more beneficial and cost-effective to focus on a balanced diet rich in whole foods. And if you're looking for easy ways to increase diet quality while still enjoying your favorite foods, then that's what my new book, Nutrivore, is here to teach you. You can order it from any online bookstore or your local independent bookstore.